edition of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. That's been in. 1.4 to go.
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field, back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
It is officially rivalry week. The Ducks getting ready to take on the Beavs following a huge win over Utah. Lot to recap today. How about those Ducks? So many keys throughout a game like this, and I want to talk about all of them. Kickoff is set, by the way. 12:30 on ABC, Oregon against Oregon State in Corvallis. Oh, you love to see a 12:30 kickoff yet again for the Ducks. A nationally televised game, two top 25 teams that are squaring off, and it is officially rivalry week. This is a big game. You win this, and you're in the Pac-12 championship game against the Trojans. You lose this, well, you don't control your destiny in that case. Also, you lose this, you don't want to lose to the Beavs. You just don't. Bo Nix got the start against Utah. Well done, Bo. No Alex Forsythe at center, though. Didn't see him throughout the game. Opening drive, Bucky Irving ran it in for a score, and I think everyone's going, okay. Utah ended up kicking a field goal to get on the board for the first time. Ducks threw a touchdown pass to Whittington on a tremendous play action. I mean, a great play action. I should say play action to Whittington, and then finding Troy Franklin in the end zone. Just a tremendous performance from the Ducks. They get up 14-3. That field goal from Cam Lewis at the end of the half proves very big to get up 17-3. Utah ball out of the locker room. Ducks forced to punt. First of the game. Good to see that. Oregon with it. Ty Thompson came in at quarterback, and a toss that got away from the Ducks ended up as a scoop and a score, and I wasn't comfortable anymore. Suddenly it was 17-10. Then it was tied at 17. Ducks needed to answer, and they did, and Camden Lewis ultimately drilled the go-ahead field goal to put them up 20-17. And then it was Oregon's ball with 6:54 left on the 26 after the Ducks forced to stop. A huge play to Dante Thornton. Then maybe the one mistake that Bo Nix made all night was that pick on a great play by Phillips. And I want to point something out that I've seen a few people point out as well, which I think is awesome. Perhaps the play of the game that no one talks about, Cam McCormick. On the interception, Cam McCormick shoestring tackles Phillips. Great player, by the way, Phillips. That prevented, I think, a pick six, which would have won the game for Utah, and they would have scored 2 touchdowns defensively off of Oregon's offensive mistakes. So Cam McCormick, for the savvy veteran move, well done. It was huge. On senior night, Gabe just said that, on senior night. And you know what? He's still got another year of eligibility if he wants it. Cam McCormick, though, that was a huge play. Though, the Utes had it again, and that was when Bennett Williams got the big interception. Offense tried to put it away, had to punt pretty quickly. The Ducks got a big stop on 4th down again. It was duck ball with 1:57 to go at the 50. The one carry of the game for Bo Nix. On a 3rd and 1, he faked the toss, dove forward, ended the game 20-17. Oh. My blood pressure is still high from that game. Jerry and Jorgie's is too. Here's our game recap.
Welcome to a chilly Autzen Stadium where Oregon entertains Utah with a chance to still advance to a Pac-12 championship and the New Year's Day Bowl. Nix snap, give it to Irving, goes up the middle, cuts it outside. He's going to score anyway. Touchdown, Bucky Irving, just like it was designed. Back to throw, rising, ball tipped into the air, intercepted! Oregon's got it back, Bennett Williams. Nix with the snap, give it to Whittington again. No, he threw it! Touchdown, Oregon! Nix, play action fake, wants to go deep. Going down for Thornton, who is there. He's got it! First down to the 21-yard line. Back to throw. Over the middle, but it is intercepted. The ball was tipped, and reaching out, it's Noah Sewell to gather that ball in. Utah's going for it. 4th and 2. Back to throw. Incomplete! He threw it too low into the ground. Rising back to throw, throws it over the middle. It's picked, intercepted. Bennett Williams just stepped in front of Dalton Kincaid and picked that ball out of the air. What a huge interception for the Ducks.
What more can you do if you're the Oregon defense? So you're going to go mano-a-mano here now. You get the first down, game's over.
And Nix keeps it and dives for the first down.
His only carry of the game.
Holy cow.
How about this team?
Oregon is 9-2 and headed to Oregon State next week with a big opportunity.
10-2 sounds better than 9-2. 9-2 sounded really good on Saturday night. A very back-and-forth game. I think it can be described as momentum swings. Both teams provided them positively and negatively. And how about this team? Bo Nix, certainly not 100%. We all saw that. What a tough effort from Bo Nix. I said going into this game that I thought one of the huge keys was going to be Oregon's running backs breaking tackles and continuing to do that. Bucky Irving and Noah Whittington have both been two of the best in the country in terms of yards after contact. I thought there were some key plays where that really was the case. That was a big takeaway. I thought that the entire defensive line played its best game of the season. Casey Rogers with a nice day blowing up play. Seemed like he was all over the ball. Bennett Williams and the Oregon secondary bounced back after playing, look, truthfully, against the #1 passing offense in the country in Washington. But the Ducks bounced back in a big-time way, and the defense stepped up, got takeaways, slowed down Utah. Tremendous performance. Tremendous performance. You know, and also on that note, talking about guys stepping up. Dante Thornton. He had the fumble, one of those big momentum swings. But I thought he really flashed in this game and looked like he could be a big-time threat for the Ducks. 4 catches for 151 yards. And when guys like Chris Hudson and Troy Franklin are going to get covered up and double-teamed, Dante Thornton emerges. Love to see that. Absolutely love to see that. So what's on the line now? Rivalry game, 1. Trip to the Pac-12 championship, 2. It's going to be a top 25 matchup. CFP rankings will come out tomorrow. Dan Lanning, Oregon football head coach, will meet with the media tonight. We'll have it for you tomorrow in addition to our conversation with Rob Mullins. Quick programming note. Thanksgiving on Thursday. We will not have a Duck Insider because we've got women's basketball at 2 o'clock and men's basketball at 5 o'clock up in Portland. And then no Duck Insider on Friday because we will be getting ready for basketball in the evening as well for the Ducks up at the PK85. So a short week this week. Wednesday, picks. Jerry, Jorgie, Jordan will join me. And then, of course, Rob Mullins joining us tomorrow. That's going to be a big conversation. Oregon offensive coordinator Kenny Dillingham today announces one of the 15 semifinalists for the Broyles Award, which honors college football's top assistant coach. Dillingham, one of 3 Pac-12 coaches named as a semifinalist in his first season at Oregon. He's directed one of the nation's most explosive offenses and helped quarterback Bo Nix play his way into the Heisman Trophy conversation. How about some of these numbers? Oregon ranks 3rd nationally in total offense at over 511 yards per game, 4th in scoring offense at over 40 points per game, and the Ducks are one of just 3 teams to score 40-plus points at least 8 times this season. The numbers speak for themselves. Impressive, and congratulations to Kenny Dillingham. I think he's got a great shot to win the Broyles Award this year. Elsewhere, before we take a break and hear from Coach Lanning and Bo Nix postgame, shout out Oregon volleyball! The reverse sweep of USC. Big win over UCLA. Ducks are still hunting for a Pac-12 championship. And speaking of a programming note, with the Ducks playing in Berkeley on Wednesday afternoon, Matt Ulmer, we're going to talk with him on tomorrow's edition of Duck Insider, and I really look forward to that as the Ducks are playing really well. Looks like they're in good position to host in the opening rounds of the NCAA tournament for volleyball. More to come. Dan Lanning, the Oregon football head coach. Stick with us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Going to hear from Coach Lanning, Oregon football head coach, in just a moment. Duck fans, be on the lookout for Oregon football trading cards. They're back, ladies and gentlemen, coming exclusively to your local Oregon Jackson's food stores. Collect them all, complete your set. Visit jacksons.com for store locations. Jackson's bringing you the Oregon football trading cards. They are back. I'm looking forward to it. I hope that we can get a set for the studio. I don't know if – I'd like to think we got an inside track. Maybe. Be nice to have a set for the studio, though, start being like, hey, Bennett Williams had a great day. Speaking of Bennett Williams, just announced from the Pac-12 office, if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week, Bennett Williams. Love to see it. All right, let's hear a little bit from Dan Lanning. What did he have to say? Including, let's just say for somebody in my position, doing the coach's show on Wednesday night, there was one quote in particular that I absolutely loved from Coach Lanning, and you're going to hear it as part of his postgame press conference.
That was a lot of fun, and, man, we made some mistakes, but we competed till the very end. Offense, defense, special teams, really a complete team win. Certainly some moments we want to have back. I thought this game, all the way going into it, was going to come down to takeaways. I didn't realize it was going to go both ways really on that. There was I think 3 on both sides. Got to take care of the ball in games like that. But that being said, we just felt like every time we took the field offensively, all we needed was one more play, one more opportunity. Defense, I think, had their back against the wall a couple times, and they came up big, made some great plays. I can't say enough about our quarterback to play in this game, after being banged up, really having limited practice reps. And obviously that was certainly newsworthy to everybody else. But for him to go out there and have a gutsy performance was really important and special for this team, and excited for our win. There's a lot of love in that locker room, man. That's a good team we just played. I got more respect probably for Coach Winningham than anybody else in this conference. He's won a lot of ball games, and that's a good team. And for our team to win a tough game like that was a lot of fun.
A little more on Bo, just kind of obviously he was limited, but particularly that run at the end to convert it, just how deep he maybe had to dig. We can ask him that later too, but your perception on just how deep he had to dig to make that play there, but also just the way he was able to still move the ball, even though it looked like it was kind of a different game for him than
yeah, certainly was a different game. I don't think it's any secret. We asked Bo right before that play, hey, can we run it? Can we run this play? Knowing that the two options were either to hand it off on the flat that we'd handed off before, or for him to keep it. And he said, absolutely, right? The guy's got heart, cares about the game, he cares about his team, and I think it shows in the way he plays.
Dan, can you give us some insight in terms of during the week, beyond the mental reps that he was taking, what all was he doing in order to put himself in position to play tonight, and when ultimately tonight was that final decision made?
He was an aggressive rehab specialist. That's what we like to term it, right? He was attacking rehab religiously. I know he would sit here and credit our training staff, and we got a great medical staff here, sports science group, that always was keeping the main thing. Then the first piece and priority was always his health. And to be honest, early in the week, I didn't know that he would be able to go. But he was aggressive. He continued to work at it. He continued to push. Our medical group, did a phenomenal job of assessing where he was at. And later in the week, we became more and more aware that we felt like, hey, this might be a possibility. Let's just see where it goes. And they did a great job. This is one of those times where Pac-12 After Dark was a good thing. It gave us a little bit more time, right, for rehab all the way up until the game. So I remember talking to Bo yesterday and saying, hey, we still got 36 more hours of rehab, which is pretty impressive when you talk about him.
With the topic of bouncing back, Bennett had a couple tough plays last week, but came up huge for you guys. Just what does that speak to just his character?
Bennett Williams is a tough kid, man. He's a tough kid that has high expectations for himself. And when his best was needed, he showed up. Right today, he did a great job. Always competes, and was glad that he could make some big plays for this team.
A lot of your players suffered through two very bad losses to Utah last year, and you guys were coming off a pretty emotional loss last week to Washington. So just how satisfying is it for you, and how big a deal is it for the players in this locker room to get this win tonight?
Yeah, we talked about playing this game with an uncommon purpose, right? We wanted to play this game for stuff bigger than just us, right? This game was about the seniors taking the field for the last time here in Autzen. This game was about Spencer Webb. This game was about being an ultimate team win, and really not worrying about the opinions of others, right? And I think sometimes our best shows up when everyone else doubts us, which we certainly take note.
Can you talk to me about Dante Thornton's performance? I mean, he had over half your team's receiving yards, and it seemed like every catch he had was for deep end. It helped your drive, be successful.
Yeah, I mean, great adjustment on that last big ball there at the end. He's a guy that's got the dominant traits, right? He can run. He's big. He's got size. He's a phenomenal kid, and to see him have some big moments, especially after he had the fumble there early on. To see him recover and make big impact for our team was huge.
Your defense had a long ways to go after last game to come back in this game. What energy did you see, or what charisma did you see from them after that tough loss against Washington that really you felt like shined tonight?
I think all we saw tonight was the standard that they want to uphold and that they want to play to, and it's that small, right? I know it doesn't always look that small. We're this close at times at being really special and playing at an elite level, and I think that showed up more tonight. What we have to do is do that consistently. But those guys just came to work, right? And they have high expectations for themselves, and it was good to see them, go out there and perform.
Sure, after film review, you'll be able to tell us more, but just your thoughts on the defensive line and the push they got, getting their hands on balls, just the impact that they had in this game.
Yeah, we talked about, this is a team that runs the wide zone, outside zone, stretch plays, and we said the way you win that is with knockback. We want to see knockback at the line of scrimmage, reestablish the line of scrimmage. I thought that showed up on a lot of the negative plays that we were able to create. That showed up from our defensive line, and several of those, balls that were incomplete or interceptions, that was because of tip balls or guys in throwing windows, and it's something we didn't do very well last week, and those guys knew it was something we had to improve on, and it showed up, made a big impact on this game.
This day and age, for good reason. There's so much attention on the playoff, and when you suffer a loss like last week, and the conversation changes, but there's still a conference title. There's still potential for a Rose Bowl. Is that chatter you still try to avoid, or are those things you are still carrots for your guys through a week like this?
I think
help them refocus.
Yeah, there's an awareness, obviously, of what exists in front of us. But, I think we've played our best when we focused on what's next, right? And, that was an elite game. All of our focus and attention was on that game, right? And now it's going to be on the next one. And you worry about the things you can control. And what we can control is how we go perform now against a really good Oregon State team, right? And we're going to enjoy this win tonight, and then tomorrow we're going to be hard at work for that.
Dan, as a coach, how do you quantify or measure the intangible in a game like this, whether it's Bo and what he does, whether it's Bennett and responding, whether it's your whole team and because of a gutting loss last week, whether it's Chris in a tough week after Wednesday for what was said or what wasn't said, and et cetera? How do you put a number, how do you put a value on this kind of a response?
I don't know that you do. I don't know. I'm just... the reality is you played a really good team there, and that's a game that could go either way, and it got tighter than it needed to go, right? But for our guys to fight and be as resilient as they are there at the end, to have that result, I'm really proud that they were able to come out on the right end of that because, regardless of the result, that was a tough fought game for our guys, and I'm glad they got to be on the right side of it.
Yeah, and last week, Bennett took responsibility for that Taj Davis touchdown at the end of the game. Why do you think he had the resiliency to come back and make that game-saving pick at the end of this one?
Because he's tough, man. He knows what's required. He's not going to sit here and have the poor me's, right? Sometimes you learn the most through adversity, and he learned through some adversity, right? I think our entire team learned through some adversity, and that game last week wasn't Bennett's fault. It was our team. It was my fault, right? But he took an opportunity to make a play in this game and execute, and several plays in this game at a high level, and I'm proud that he was able to do that.
Bo maybe lacking some mobility. How key was it for the offensive line just to keep him clean in the pocket for most of the game?
Yeah, super important. Important to throw the ball in time. Important for those guys to keep him clean. For the most part, was able to do that. I think when he was able to make elite decisions and get the ball out when it needed to be out, and those guys protect him, it certainly helped.
Yeah, Dan, on that note, with Alex being out and Ryan stepping in at center, just what do you make of his performance and him sliding in there, and how close was Alex to being able to go?
Yeah, to be determined. Alex is tough. I think everybody in this room knows that if he could have been out there, he would have been out there helping this team. This is that time of year. We got a lot of guys banged up, right? And it's called vitamin T. A little bit of toughness, man. And Ryan Walk's got toughness, man. Bo Nick's got toughness. We got a lot of guys out there playing with nicks and bruises, and they're playing, and performing at a high level, and that's what it takes. That's what's required. It requires a little bit of toughness and availability, and it was good to see him be able to go out there and perform.
When your defense was on the field tonight, you seemed a little more animated on the sidelines than we've seen you in past games. Did you take any more of an active role in defensive play calling this week or not?
It was a team effort. Our success was a team effort, and our guys were bought into what was required for us to be successful, felt like we had a good beat on what they did, and they did a really good job of that.
Could you explain the strategy behind the first play of the second half for you guys offensively and just what happened?
You guys can critique that one. That was poor. That was not. Didn't work out well, obviously, and I'm glad that didn't cost us the game. But great learning moment for me and our staff.
The run game wasn't as efficient as it's been in previous weeks. Is that something that they necessarily did, or was that just more part of the game plan that you guys came in with?
Certainly more of what they did, and then obviously we were conscientious of how much we were going to run Bo, right? So sometimes when teams play the way they're playing, the answer is to pull the ball, right? And that wasn't something we were really willing to do in this game.
Because the field goal ends up holding as the winning score, it's hidden in there. It's not going to show up, again, unquantifiable. But a play that Terrence doesn't make last season, to spring that run on Noah, to get the first down, to then 3 plays later there's a field goal. How many of those little things that just immediately catch your eye on that kind of thing where, again, a player who you inherited who a year ago doesn't make that play?
Yeah, you talk about how you play when you don't have the ball, right? That was something we came in after last week. We challenged ourselves to play better without the ball, and it's something that happened early in the season. So to see guys strain like that to make a block that makes a difference is huge.
Just on the defense's play coming off of last week, what was kind of the mood with that group coming off a really tough week, and how gratifying was it to see them show up so many times in key spots?
Hungry and disappointed, and I think I told the team after that game that I was angry and embarrassed for myself, right? And I think a lot of the players shared the same sentiment. But instead of sitting there crying over spilt milk, we said, let's just get to work and figure out how we can get better. And you know what? It's a new game now, right? You can't rest on what we just did because we got to go play another game. and got to go try to play at a high level. But those guys are resilient. They do a good job.
Started by asking about what the past week was for Bo to get him here. What's the next, until Monday when we talk to you, what's the next 48 hours in terms of what does he do now in terms of what's the off-the-field element of keeping him upright in order to do it again next week?
I'll let Chris Hudson answer that. Maybe we're just going to get back to work, man. Just get back to work. Keep attacking it. So appreciate you guys.
Bravo, Coach Lanning. Bravo. Oh, that was next level greatness in a post-game press conference from Dan Lanning. Brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Oh, man. I have nothing else to say on that subject. Let's take a break. Bo Nix, Oregon quarterback. We'll hear from him next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone.
That should do it.
Way to go, Steve! By simply taking digital pictures of his family's important documents, Steve can always have them stored safely online, no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Chris Jakimick, I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. I always appreciate these comments, and fans, thanks for doing it. Alex with a great point here that I want to bring up. The last interception that Rising threw, I think Funa, Alex says, made a bigger play than Bennett Williams did getting the football. He bumped Kincaid right at his turn on his route, which caused a disruption. Great point. You know, again, there are so many little things in a game that add up to success. Really impressive stuff. And, you know, I think that's a great point. One of many. I also saw Dominic asking about refs never calling the offside and the defender jumped the line and went across and there was no flag. You know, you're the second person, Dominic, you're the second person to ask me that, and I didn't see it, truthfully. In real time, I didn't see it. It wasn't one that jumped out to me when I rewatched the game on Sunday. I don't have a comment, I guess, today. Bo Nix, the Oregon football quarterback. What an impressive performance from Bo Nix. Let's hear from him after the game.
Coach was just talking, said he asked you, could they run the play where you might potentially keep the ball to try to move the chains there? Can you just talk about that situation and kind of your willingness to take that on?
Yeah, we try not to run me a whole lot, just to aggravate what was going on. But,
it's a yard. I figured I could go in there and get a yard. And play call was beautiful based off what they did. Sorry. I mean, I knew all I needed, a yard, go in there and dive and take a knee to win the game.
Can you just talk us through this week and your confidence level, how it progressed through the week about your chances to play?
Well, it was up and down. I mean, there's times I was like, you know what, I can go out there and manage, and then there's times I was like, I can't even walk. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that. I felt like the team deserved my shot. You know, I felt like the team deserved me, for me to go out there and give them what I had, and because they worked tirelessly all week through injuries themselves, through some sickness, and so I mean, I did it all for my teammates, and I figured if they could do it, then I could do it.
Give us a sense, Bo, of what your week was in terms of just how much treatment you were getting, and without, you don't have to get into the specifics of the injury here, obviously, but just how doubtful was this? How much of a game time decision this really got to be in the last?
You know, I've never been a part of a game time decision, but it was legitimately a game time decision. Even waking up this morning, you don't know with these kind of injuries how adrenaline's going to work and how you're going to feel during pregame warm-ups. You may have a bad day, and just not feel very good. But, I mean, yesterday I was able to get out there and do some stuff and gave me some more confidence that it was possible. And then today, spent all day over here with treatment with Chief and Travis, our athletic trainers. And, I mean, I was in there with them doing 3 or 4 times a day treatment whenever I could, before practice, after practice, afternoon, at night. So, I mean, like I said, it was up and down. There's plenty of times this week that I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. But fortunately today, as we got to the game, it was just time to go out there and compete.
As mentally prepared as you were, I mean, you're alluding to physically, you could not have really felt prepared. Yeah. That's an odd feeling you never felt.
No doubt.
How did you just do what we all just saw you do?
You know, I'm a physical rep guy, so I like to go out there and do physical reps and get those in and make the throws. But this week I couldn't manage to do that, so I had to completely rely on like mental reps and mental focus and listen, pay attention super hard in meetings, have extra conversations with Ty. I mean, Ty Thompson helped me more than anybody this week because I had to ask him so many questions throughout the week. Hey, what are our steps on this? What are we doing on this? And he was so paying attention and locked in. He was able to tell me. And I thought Ty did a great job of preparing, like he was going to go out there and play the whole game. So Ty was extremely prepared. He had a great week himself. And like I said, it goes back. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it. I just wanted to give myself a chance, and I knew I had to prepare like I was going to go out there and play.
Take us back to last week in the hit, Bo. When you first look up, were you thinking in your mind that the hit in and of itself is quasi-dirty because it's head first into the leg, and was it the leg or the ankle? Or where?
Oh, it wasn't a dirty hit at all. I thought the free safety did a really good job of filling the gap and reading out the play and making a tackle. It happens fast. I couldn't really react to it, and that's just football. It happens. I thought it was a clean tackle. He went in there and got me on the ground, and it just felt uncomfortable. And obviously, with the past injuries that I've had, it's just I felt the same kind of stuff. And so, fortunately, nothing was really seriously injured, and I was able to just battle through it this week with the help of teammates and coaches and training staff. Couldn't have done it without
Even though you weren't here last year, I'm sure you've heard a lot about, the 2 blowout losses that a lot of your teammates suffered through last year at the hands of Utah. So given that, what does this mean in the locker room, and is this the biggest win of the season for you guys?
We had an uncommon purpose this week. We were going to go out there and play for ourselves, play for our teammates, play for Spencer, who wasn't able to be with us. But I think that overall, we just had to put our egos aside, how we were feeling aside, and we just had to go out there and play as a team, play very connected football, play tough. And we talk about all the time, like our DNA traits, and this was a game where we had to represent all those. And I've heard a lot about what happened last year. The guys were just ready to roll. The guys were ready to go. It was a tough week for us. There's a lot of just distractions, a lot of things not going our way. But today our defense came out and set the tone, played great. Offense, we barely just did enough to get the lead, and the defense held on there at the end multiple times. And so it's a complete team win, and it's all glory to God.
You played in a couple of Iron Bowls, and now you get to play in what used to be called the Civil War. So just your thoughts on your first rivalry game next week with Oregon State up there.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've heard a lot about this rivalry. Been able to watch it a lot in the past. Know it's going to be a hostile environment. Know it's going to be a tough game. We got to go in there prepared, ready to roll.
Coach, so much was said about your availability, but there was also Alex and Ryan's availability. What can you say just about going through the week without knowing that status either, and just their performance protecting you?
Like I said, it was a bunch of unknowns again, and I mean, there was so many guys that had just ticky-tack injuries that were just bothersome. Didn't know what kind of strength and flexibility and stuff we would have for the game. And Ryan was one of those guys, and Ryan battled all week. We were in there training in the training room together, just feeling it out. We're like, hey, what are you thinking? How are you thinking you're feeling? We're going to give it a go. And we just both decided, you know what? We're both senior night, both a competitive game like Utah. We want to be out there. And so we just went out there and gave them our best shot. And it wasn't pretty all the time, but we got through the game, and as a team, we won it.
Just a couple of plays in the fourth quarter, Bo, that really stand out. The first play, 4th and 4, you get the conversion there exactly to Troy. Third down, you get the pass to Whittington that Terrence helped spring. Then later, you have both the deep pass and the interception going across the field and manage to, obviously finish it off with the run.
Yeah.
How do you ride the emotional wave of that as some really big plays each way?
It was tough. We felt like we'd get something going and then something bad would happen, or we couldn't get something going and we were off the field. And so it was literally, we had to keep everybody's mindsets right. We had to keep everybody with a good attitude. And it's tough. Those kind of games when you're playing against a really good defense, kind of limited offensively with what you can do. It's tough. And I thought Coach Dillingham did a great job of battling through himself, finding some things that worked there at the end. Our guys made some great plays out at receiver that just continued to give us life, continued to move the ball, and we scored enough points when it mattered.
You talked about wanting to, play for your teammates in this game. How important was it? Obviously, you didn't run all game, but to pick up that last 4 from 1.
Well, it was huge, and a few plays before there was a timeout, and they're like, Bo, can you run? I was like, you know what, absolutely. I think I can go out there and get a few yards and keep them honest on defense. And play before, we handed it to Noah and got 3rd and short, and I pretty much essentially knew I was keeping the ball the next play. I felt like I could get a yard. Our line knew it, and we're going to make sure to protect and get just a little gap there. And that's what we did. Got a first down and just iced the game.
What were the emotions like this past week? How that game was lost last week, who it was, and ramifications it had. How did this team kind of get past that?
It was a tough week, but we did it together. We didn't blame anybody. We went right back to work. Could have hung our heads and kind of sulked all week. We had almost every right to. We were banged up, not feeling good, sick. A lot of things were bad were happening. But we're just a tough team, and it meant a lot to us this week. And I'm so proud of our guys. I'm so proud to be in the locker room with them, and just so glad that the Lord put me in this situation.
Bo,
let's wrap up.
One more.
Dante said, you before that game-winning drive to get the field goal, he said you brought the offense together and talked to them. What exactly did you say in that conversation?
Just our mental space was everywhere. A lot of things were going on. A lot of new things were happening. We had to just kind of focus back in and go back to the basics. Make sure we get our eyes up, see what we're supposed to see the play, see the signal, communicate, run the right thing, and do it at a quick tempo. And I felt like after that, we responded well. We didn't score like we wanted to, but we at least moved the ball and kept our defense in a better situation than what we could have given them to them. But they stopped them, and so it was great.
Thank you.
And you could even hear the hoarseness in his voice, couldn't you? Bo Nix, a lot of people, I saw Devin even asking, like, what's his status for Oregon State? I mean, I'll let Chris Hudson answer that one. We're going to take a time out. Dante Thornton, Bennett Williams. Want to make sure we hear from those guys and more. Also coming up, cross-country, men's basketball, volleyball. Weekend recap continues on Duck Insider. It's a Monday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at smokeybear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Going to hear from a few more Oregon football student-athletes coming up. First, though, time for today's 2-minute drill brought to you by Cafe Yum. Cross country, highlighted by a pair of All-America performances Saturday morning. The Oregon cross-country teams closed out their season Saturday at the NCAA Championships. Izzy Thornton-Bott becomes the newest Oregon woman to bring home All-America honors in cross-country, while Aaron Bienfeld collected his second All-America certificate as a Duck and third of his career. The women of Oregon finished 14th in the team standings, and the UO men combined for a 16th place team finish, up 5 spots from their national rank entering the meet. A good start for the new staff for Oregon cross country, as the Ducks, though, you know, it's amazing. We're sitting here talking about a couple All-America honors, and I think the entire cross country team and community is saying, okay, but let's get back to that team podium. That's what it's all about. For Oregon men's basketball, a tough loss to Houston over the weekend. They made it interesting, got within 6 at the end of the game, fell 66-56 to the number 3 team in the country. And I'll tell you, they sure looked like the number 3 team in the country. Houston was really good, and the Ducks are banged up. We'll find out more about Keyshawn Barthélemy in the coming days heading into the tournament in Portland. But the Ducks are right now without probably 2 starters offensively and without their 6th man. Hopefully Keyshawn Barthélemy getting healthier. For Oregon volleyball, following their 5-set win on Friday, the Oregon women extended their program record winning streak in conference play to 11 matches with the victory over USC. They are a 11-0 this season at home with that 5-set win over Southern California. They're up to number 10 in the latest AVCA poll. They're playing on Wednesday. We're going to talk to Matt Ulmer tomorrow on the show. Also of note, senior night, Friday, 6 o'clock against the Beavs. Rivalry week kicks off at Matthew Knight Arena, 6 o'clock Oregon volleyball before that 12:30 kickoff in Corvallis. Ducks are 21-5 and 15-3. Got a career-high 29 kills from freshman Mimi Collier. She had hit that 25-kill mark a couple times this season and then got 29. Yeah, impressive. Really, really impressive. That's your 2-minute drill, brought to you by Cafe Yum. Restaurants throughout Oregon and Washington, serving Northwest-inspired catering and takeout for your next gathering or meeting. Menus, cafeyum.com. Back to Oregon football. Dante Thornton, I said it earlier. I thought a breakout performance from him. You're going to double-team Troy Franklin? Here's Dante Thornton. You're going to cover up that screen game with Chris Hudson? Here's Dante Thornton. And here's Dante Thornton with the media postgame.
So, Dante, I mean, pretty good game. I would say having over half your team's receiving yards. What was the process today? Like, what made it such a good day for you?
We knew coming to the we knew coming to this game that it was going to be a real big game for us, and that the main focus for the going to this game, Coach Lanning always told us, like, we got to play this game for the seniors. It's that last game at Autzen. So we was like, we got to go out there and give it our all every play. So I had that same mindset to go out there and give my all every play. And that game really meant a lot to me personally, because last year that was my first start against Utah, and they beat us bad. And they beat us again in the Pac-12 championship. And then from a personal standpoint, I played that game for my grandfather. My grandfather passed 2 days ago. So, like, I had a lot on my heart going into the game, and that's why that was my main purpose in the game, like, to play for him.
Do you feel like you honored him today?
I feel like I definitely did.
What do you make of Bo's showing, on a bad ankle and everything? It seems like he put the ball.
Me and Bo Nix was out there talking and just said, Bo, you throw the ball, I'm going to catch it. That's all it really was. No matter where he put it at, how far it was, I just told him throw it and I'll go get it for you.
How impressive is it, though, his just ability to get through and play 4 quarters like that after the way he was playing?
Yeah, Bo was a superhero for that, because I couldn't do it. Yeah, he's a superhero for that one.
Was it clear to you all week he was going to be the guy, or was it just
No, it was not.
No?
It messed me up. I ain't know until we started the game. So, yeah.
Dante, what went through your head on the second fumble? Why did that mishap happen? Just take us through that play.
It was just, it was one of the plays where the timing didn't go as planned, and we couldn't get the transition from Ty to me. That's all it was. And it was like, yeah, it was a bad play. We was gonna shake back from that. So yeah, it was just a bad transition, late pass. That's it.
And after the first fumble, it seemed like Chris came over to you and kind of hyped you up. What did he say to you after that?
Everybody was basically telling me, like, keep my head, don't get mad, just shake it off, keep going. And I had to basically go out there after anytime, like the first fumble, I was getting down on myself. Everybody was pushing me back up. So I'm like, from here on out, anything that happened to me, I'm gonna try to stay positive no matter what it is. So, like, the first fumble, I got up, shook it off, made a play after that. The second fumble, got back up, made another play after that. So basically, like, not letting small things or anything knock me down, just keep going every time.
After an arguably disastrous third quarter, what was said to get the team's collective head screwed back on so that you guys could finish out the game and get the W?
Bo brought the whole offense up and told us we needed to pick everything up, clear our mind, play fast like we were playing in the beginning of the game, whereas though he felt like we slowed down or we was playing slower until Utah's level. He said we need to pick it up and play how we played in the beginning, and after Bo said that, he didn't have to say anything less. He went out there and did it.
Does he often address the whole offense or the whole team like that, or how does that go?
Yeah, he definitely addressed the whole team. He'd pull everybody up in the huddle, tell the coaches to step back, and he'd say whatever he had to say, and everybody listened.
After catching that 58-yard bomb, take us through the first thing that went through your mind after that catch.
I was happy I caught the ball. I'm like, we ready to score. That's all it was. I'm like, oh yeah, I made a catch. I was really thinking be fast so we can get another play in, but yeah, that went how it went. But yeah, I was just happy I caught the pass.
The momentum of the season can really change after a loss like last week. Just how important was it to come out here and get back on the right track and also keep the conference championship appearance possibility still alive?
Yeah, Coach Lanning always told us, like, no matter, like last week, we had that loss, but he said, even though we took that loss, our destiny is still in our hands. Like, we're still in the driver's seat to our destiny. So he went to this game knowing that us and Utah had the same goal. And it was just basically the winner's going to make it. And we went out there and fight strength on strength, and we came out on top.
That's a great answer from Dante Thornton. Emerged, I think, for the Ducks. Give some teams something else to think about, doesn't he? When we come back, Bennett Williams, a guy who stepped up, the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week. We'll hear from him next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week, Bennett Williams. He and the Ducks, great defensive performance against Utah. We welcome you back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. From inside the Country Financial Studio, we got Oregon women's basketball tipping off against Southern Utah tonight. Finishing up today's show, hearing from Bennett Williams after the win over the Utes, and it's rivalry week now.
Best EQ man in the world.
You've taken a lot of accountability for some breakdowns in recent weeks. How much accountability do you felt like you took in this game to make some plays when your team needed? Obviously, Bo's hobbled a little bit. Yeah. Offense has kind of had a different character than it's had in the last few weeks.
Yeah, those big moments, I think, like, I feel like I'm made for that in terms of, like, got to step up, right? Regardless of, last week I wasn't able to make the play, but as long as you own it, like, you got to own it, right? And that's, I think, what enabled me this week to be able to go out there and not have that fear, you know what I'm saying? And be like, all right, this is a big moment again, but I know, trust in my training and not necessarily put the team on my back, because that's not what happened, but, go and make a big play, and there's big plays made all around the field. I just happened to get the ball thrown to me a couple of times, so that was nice.
Obviously, 86 a great player. Just what was the task of trying to just rein him in as much as possible, and then just did that ultimately play in your hands at all? That you could maybe predict maybe where the ball was going?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that they were going to try to get the ball to him, especially in that fourth quarter. When it's on the line, fourth down. We know they're going to 86. He got me a couple times, today, but I had to get him back. He's a hell of a player, and we knew, that was the game plan. They want to get to him in those situations. So that second pick, that was a lot of film study. Knew exactly what he was going to run. Got to jump that route, and luckily the ball was thrown right there. Just thought about, don't drop it, catch that ball.
What was the last week just like for you personally, for this defense, and to come out and play like you did individually, like this defense did? That has to feel really gratifying.
This is definitely the most satisfying win for the defense for sure so far. We really stepped up to the plate. Offense didn't have the normal explosive day that they usually do, and they usually put us on their backs, right? So we kind of took pride in that. Especially after last week, we knew we couldn't, do that again. I know a lot of people counted us out today, with not a super healthy Bo Nix, but defense, I'm so proud of the guys for stepping up, especially after last week and us showing like last week, to be able to bounce back. That was really impressive.
Yeah, then can you take us through that second pick? You pointed at one of your teammates after you made the play, so it seemed like you guys had gone over that in film study.
Yeah.
What made you see that play before?
Yeah, he had, it was JJ Greenfield. He had told me literally right before the drive, he said, they're going to throw you one, just catch that, just catch it. And so as soon as I caught it, I almost dropped it too. I don't know if you saw. And I, came back and pointed right at him. But that was something that we had gone over all week. Just too open to the field. Especially with 86 at number 2, we knew that was a hot route. They would love to run double slants. So I, keyed into that, and as soon as I saw him break, I jumped in. Luckily, the ball was thrown right there, and had to make that play. So that felt good.
On the first one, did you see Justin lay out Kincaid? So on the first one.
Oh yes. So the ball's up in the air, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna catch. I was getting ready to knock it down out of his hands because I knew Kincaid was gonna go. And all of a sudden, here comes, number 10, and there's no more Kincaid. And I'm like, okay, so I'm figuring Flo took care of him for me. So then I had a free shot at the ball. So I got to give Flo some props for that, and Jordan Riley for tipping the ball up in the air. For sure.
Credit where it's due, that. Like we talked about after the Colorado game, like, hey, we talked to Demo because of what happened in 2019.
Yeah.
One, did you after last week, and two, this is a test of mettle that you could very easily go full-blown turtle after a game like that. I'm being real.
Yeah.
But you just had the game of your career. How?
That's to me, it started with taking accountability for last week, and understanding that it doesn't mean I'm a bad football player, right? It happens to everybody, and the position I was in, it happens. There's stuff that I could clean up, and I watched those plays so many times. Like, and as much as it hurt, it was like, what can I do better? What is there to improve? And I think with that mentality and just understanding that, okay, I own it and then put it behind me, because that it happened, right? And obviously it was very unfortunate, but it kind of allowed me to come out here tonight and play free and without a worry of, I don't want to get beat again.
Didn't want to get beat again. Did his job. Bennett Williams, what a great performance from him, the entire Oregon defense, and what a leader he is, right? Giving credit to his teammates. That's the response. That's the formula for a win. Volleyball, huge wins. Men's basketball, got to bounce back, got to get healthier. Women's basketball tonight. Football, back on the practice field tomorrow. We're going to hear from Dan Lanning tonight. We'll have that for you on the show, in addition to our conversation with Rob Mullins and Matt Ulmer. It's a busy show tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow on the Oregon Sports Network.
Guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Brought to you